opportunity to do so. I know that there are some listeners tonight who are on the fence about this topic, and I suggest to anybody who doesn't know what's going on to do the research. You're welcome to go to my channel, watch my videos, watch the videos on this channel, and watch videos from people with every perspective and opinion, because that's how you're going to come to your own conclusion. And ultimately, we all want to come to our own conclusions. So I'm not here to try to guide anyone in any direction. I'm simply going to be sharing the facts as I know them and my opinions as well. I'm not showing my face because I look like crap tonight. And that's just going to have to be good enough for you. Sorry. So, I also have a TubeU channel, which has a few podcasts that I did prior to all of this happening, and people can go check those out as well. And my goal, a lot of people are asking me what's my goal in speaking out, and it is transparency, because I do have a blue check mark, because I am a creator with over 500,000 followers. I accept the fact that I am a public person, and I feel that I do owe the people who follow and listen and watch me the clarity of knowing what is really going on in this situation. So I will be open to questions. I do have some notes that I have taken so that I can try to stay on topic. The topic of discussion is Ophelia. And I was a friend of hers, just to give you guys some background. And we met, and she used to text me all the time. So I'm just looking at the comments here. Okay, where am I? So Ophelia admits to being nosy. It's really half of her shtick. I'm so nosy. I went over to Slot's page and I watched her live and I participated in it, and it was like a soap opera, and it was so exciting. That's some of the rhetoric that we've received from her in past videos regarding her relationship to Slots, which I would like to cover a little bit of later. As far as the text messages and voice messages, those are the same thing. You can send somebody a text. You can send somebody a voice message. There is no expectation of privacy when you send either. And it is my sharing the recordings that she made and sent to me are, it's basically the same as when Lissa shares screenshots of conversations that she had with Charles or anyone else. So legally, ethically, if you put it in writing or you say it in your own voice and you click send, the recipient of that is not legally obligated to give you any privacy. There is no expectation of that. So just wanted to clear that up. I can be nosy. I can share recordings. Now, Ophelia is not living rent-free in my mind. She does not have any power here. And I'm free and capable of speaking my own mind, and I have zero expectations. So we can just let those cards fall where they may. We could start with the fact that the LGBT community, of which I am a part, is very upset with Ophelia because of the fact that she did not come out in full force to support our community when the time came that it needed to be done the most, which is this election. There's too much at stake. And a lot of people who follow her and depend on her and look up to her because they're LGBTQ, they may have been rejected by their families or even their own mothers. And when she assumes the role of a mother figure and LGBT people look to her as such, then she has an obligation to comfort them in times of distress. And this election has caused a lot of distress for our community because, as we know, one side of the political spectrum has been responsible for enacting and passing over 5,000 laws across our country that detrimentally affect trans people. And I support trans people, even though I'm not trans. And I think that she says in her words that she does, but her actions are saying different. And so when she had the opportunity to speak out for not only LGBT rights, but for women's rights, she failed to do so. So that's the big disappointment for those of you who aren't aware. Now, this is coming from a person who steals the spotlight from LGBT people, in my opinion. And I've seen her do this myself at Alabama Pride, Central Alabama Pride, where she receives an award, of like a humanitarian award, whatever that is. And she is considered a headliner. And I find that insulting to local Alabama LGBT activists, including the people who organized the entire Pride event, because that's a lot of volunteers. That's a lot of people put in their long hours of work and attention and spending time away from their families to try to organize these Pride events. They're not easy. And I feel like those people deserve more recognition than the person that they're giving this award to. And I'm not saying that she doesn't deserve some recognition. She has a very large platform, and she has verbally spoken out on behalf of LGBT people. But when it came time to really, put her money where her mouth is, that didn't happen, because she could not stand up and say that she is actively voting for a candidate who actually does support our equality. So that's disappointing, and I get it. On the other end of the spectrum, when she said in one of her follow-up videos that she is not political, but that she just assumed that everyone knew where she stood because she's a good person, and because she's a good person, she would never vote for a certain candidate. Those people who support that candidate have every right to be upset. I can see their perspective. I can see how this feels like you're being thrown under the bus, because when our side started to go, make videos and start to try to tell her where, that we need more support from her than just words, that we need her to say, you're going to vote against this person. And she wouldn't, that she threw our side under the bus. And when she said that she didn't support the other guy because she's a good person, she threw the other side under the bus. So that just kind of screwed up everything for her. And that's how this really all started. It started with a video of, ain't you mad? I'm angry. Not a tear in her eye, just looking all doe-eyed, all up in your face, just like, you're an influencer. Are you trying to make me angry? Is that what you want to do? Because I don't get angry at God. And I understand that, climate change causes these hurricanes. And if you're going to get angry at somebody, get angry at the people who deny climate change, because we've had decades to do something about it and we haven't. So I'm not going to get angry at God about that. But, being this person who represents us and whatever, you can't just speak over us. You can't just be the headliner and walk in front of us. You have to march with us. We're looking for equality. We're looking for, protection under the law for the people who are like us under our LGBTQIA plus umbrella. And it's easy to say that you support us while you're collecting money from some cause, from views, it's so easy to support us when you're getting views and you're getting paid. But when it comes time to actually vote against the person who would, the person who thinks that you can go to school and come home transgendered all of a sudden, you go to school a boy and come home a girl, what the hell? Who supports that? And why not open your pie hole all the way up and say that you don't?
That happened to my son yesterday. He left a girl and came back a boy. So I don't know. Just kidding. I'm kidding.
So it does happen. Oh my goodness. I stand
it
corrected.
Happens.
I stand corrected. What's her name now?
Kylie.
Oh my God. It's good.
Sorry, I saw an opportunity. I don't get this often.
Thank you, Lizzie. And it's nice to see you.
Hey. Okay, back to you. I'm shutting up. Bye.
But I'm just going on and on. But there's the other issues that we have to be concerned with are now. If you want to know my backstory with Ophelia, you could just go to my channel and watch the video that I just posted a few minutes ago. It's about losing a friend named Ophelia, and you can find out what our history was, how she threw me under the bus. She stopped being my friend publicly without letting me know ahead of time. And it was very painful. And she made a video and she named me, which she didn't do, as far as I can tell, with Slots or so many others that she's been associated with. People who actually are accused of crimes and stuff. Like, I have not been accused of any crime. I have not done anything to harm anyone. She just was trying to save her own platform, and she decided not to be my friend, and she named me publicly. And that video is on my channel. So for people who want to know more about that, go right ahead. I would rather focus tonight on where's the money. Because as somebody who is publicly accountable to the public, with a blue check mark myself, I feel that she should be telling people what happened to the GoFundMe leftovers. If you do the math, it's not going to cost more than $30,000 for a funeral. And if you only put $50,000 into a charity fund, well, then that comes out to about $201,000. Okay, where's that at? Where did it go? And when we see her flashing all these luxuries, her new swimming pool and deck around it, and all of the home renovations and things like that, vacations, it just seems sus. And if that isn't enough, then you have to ask yourself, how is it that two fully employed people living in Alabama, where the cost of living is not as high as it is in Chicago, LA, New York, wherever, how these people needed charity to begin with? Because at the time of her, horrific tragedy that occurred, which I'm not discounting and never would, they had money. They didn't need a handout. They didn't need to become a charity case. So that feels like a grift. She had almost 7 million followers. She was, probably in the Creator Fund, and, I'm not sure what she did with sponsors, et cetera. But she recently said herself that, to having a large following does not equate to having a large income. And so if you put all these things together, maybe it wasn't large, but it should have been enough to take care of your own needs. Now think about the people in these states that were affected by the hurricane and how much $200,000 could have benefited them. And then think about a couple who lives together in a household with just their pets, who's not, doesn't have any other financial responsibility, and they're both working and they're both bringing in an income. What would warrant them even accepting charity to begin with? Like, what? I mean, my family has lost several members of our family over the years, and I did not put up a GoFundMe. I paid my share. I paid what I had to, it can be financed, these things happen, and we have to be financially prepared. And if we're not, then, then we have to find a means to do it. But, she did not authorize, or she didn't start the GoFundMe. We know that. And we know that from what we've heard, it only lasted for 4 days. But according to Inside Edition, she received $281,000. So doing the math, it's very simple. Like, follow the money. Where's the money? And don't tell me that she doesn't owe anybody any explanation, because there were thousands of donors who put their money in there. Some of these people, it might have been the last $10 that they had. And those people deserve an explanation as to what happened to the money that they sent, because it's not enough to 381. Yeah, there were other FundMe. There was a meal train thing in which no meals were delivered. From what I understand, they didn't have her address, so they couldn't deliver any meals. And supposedly only one person wanted a refund from that. So then, like, if they didn't get the meals, then what happened to the money? Did you just give it to the meal place, like the meal train app? Like, how does that work? So, you know, and it may be more, way more, but I do know, like, what's been reported in the media, the 281,000, that would have been enough to pay for multiple funerals. So, and we know for a fact that it wasn't all spent on that. And she should be accountable, especially now that she has a 501c3 and, you know, in her son's name, and she's calling it, you know, it's supposed to be a charity, right? So give us some accountability for that. What are you doing with the money? Who's being benefited from it? And can the people who gave it to her, you know, with good intentions, have some peace of mind of knowing that it was paid forward to somebody who actually needed it, because she doesn't need it. You know, it's like, she doesn't need it. Yeah. And I don't know if it's a legal issue, but it definitely is a moral issue. That's what I would call grifting. It's what I call a charity case. That's what I call a person who enjoys a handout. Because there was no need. She did not have to accept that money even after it was raised. She did not have to say, yes, I'll take it. Yes, I'll put my name on the dotted line and I will take this money. She could have refused, and it could have gone back to everybody that had sent it in. And, you know, I don't care if she paid taxes on it. I don't care what she did with it. I just want to know where, you know, why the hell didn't it go to somebody who was in greater need than her? Because she obviously is not in need of anything with all of the things that she has, you know, the gifts that she's getting. And she still has a Cash App in her bio, from what I understand, and she still has that P.O. box. Anyone with a Cash App and a P.O. box is expecting a handout, period. So you really have to think about the motivations that somebody who has a Cash App is, you know, what's their motivation to sit with you? Usually people who, you know, have a means of getting a handout want to sit with you so that you can give them a handout. And whether it's just watching the video from beginning to end, and her getting paid for those views in, you know, in large numbers, or if it's actually, you know, sending money into her Cash App or sending her a gift to her P.O. box. Nobody has those things without having an expectation of getting a handout. So that's my concern about the GoFundMe. Like I said, she's had lots of luxuries. And any input about it? Yeah.
There's one, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but there's one huge misconception about this that people are like overlooking. She absolutely authorized this GoFundMe. She absolutely gave what do you call it? Like, they discussed it first, because I had it posted on my old account, where if you follow the GoFundMe trail and where it went on the internet, like when the girls posted it, they said, we got approval from Ophelia first to start this GoFundMe. So she knew, like, so for people like, well, she didn't know, she knew she didn't need it. She knew that they were not in need of all of this money. And by 20 hours in, 19 hours, it was at $190,000, right? She was the only beneficiary. And then after they cut it off, then she put up her P.O. box. Then she, like, to me, this was all about the master grift. And then I think, the year after, she got one of those awards at the Cheer Fraud Awards, or whatever that is, the GoFundMe Powerhouse Awards that you win if you put up a GoFundMe and raise the most money, because that's what that is. She won an award.
I knew she got an award.
I think it was that year, like the end of that year, like when the awards were the next year after all that GoFundMe started. She got it 2 years in a row. And it's for whoever raises the most money.
Yes,
so
I want to talk about that too. We really should talk about this cheer choice, because it is definitely.
God, I did so much research today. Oh my God, Chaz! Yes, I'm talking to Chaz. I forgot. I almost called you Luke.
I think it's horrible. Scandal. Yeah,
my mind is blown.
You saw the video from my friend Shenanigans today that I edit. Yeah,
and then I went and did a deep dive, like I do. Oh man, I found 12 GoFundMe's associated with all of these people that are on the board and the team members. Like, it's so suspicious.
It is, and there's only like 5 board members or something, which is kind of strange. Like usually they have more board members than that, from what I hear.
Team members, there's 15 of them, and the only people who have ever won these awards are sitting right up on that team member status. Then you come to find out that it wasn't even voted on. Like, and I've been told several times about a GoFundMe scheme where, like, this creator will start a like they'll talk up their sick friend or their homeless or whatever it is, and then boom, a GoFundMe goes, and then you see all the same people that are supporting each other. This one little group, you know what I mean? If you know what I'm saying, the little clicky click that's happening.
The Discord group.
Yeah.
From what we've heard,
they go and they boost it. And then this one has it, and then they boost it, and then they get kickbacks. Like, and then nobody shows receipts of where this money goes. As a matter of fact, several of them have come back, as we all know, to be fraudulent. Like, what? And TikTok what? Isn't it a TikTok sponsored event?
Yeah.
Like, how much money does TikTok get from this? That's horrible.
Right. Yeah. Well, TikTok gets money from a lot of things, and every time she goes live, she has a minimum of 4,000 to 5,000 people in there, and the gifts are just coming in hot and fast. And I can easily see someone earning, with that earning potential of like $5,000 to $10,000 just for a live for like 90 minutes. It's amazing how much money rolls in, and if she's in the creator fund, then she must be rolling in the dough, because if she averages even 1.5 million views per day, that could be like $2,000 to $3,000.
So there's a place you can go to look, and I've looked that up. So off of the beta fund only, she makes $40,000 a month on her videos, provided she between 30 and 40,000. You can look it up. I'll put the website. I'll do a video, and you can put the website up there.
I would say
it gives
that's
up to date.
Yeah.
Like between 30 and 40, depending. Well, now she's probably getting like 20 because her stuff is tanking. Like, it's wonderful. And then for her lives, for every million coins or whatever, she gets $5,000. So that's why she does those battles, because she gets $5,000 every time. And then her brand deals.
I thought she didn't do battles. She doesn't have to do battles. Oh my God. Like, you should see when she goes live. Like, I've been in there and I've seen it. She doesn't have to do battles. She's actually spoken out against. It might not be for battles. I don't do all that. She doesn't have to, because she gets tons. She did battle with Brandon, the young man with the brain injury.
I know.
When she first met him, I remember watching that she did do a battle with him, and she did one with a guy who makes cell phone covers or cases or something. Those are the only 2 times that I've ever seen her actually battle, and she insisted on people giving all the gifts to Brandon. And I didn't mean to use the word battle. I meant live. Before she threw Brandon under the bus too. Like, she could have just blocked and ignored him. But she didn't. And when a person has a brain injury, like, I don't give a shit who you are. Just leave him the fuck alone. That person has a brain injury. Just leave him the hell alone. He's obviously not operating at the same capacity that she is. And he's going to have emotional outbursts and things. This is what comes with the territory. Like, don't befriend somebody like that. That always bothered me. And then turn on him. Of course, he's going to change his screen name to yours. Like, now you've made him obsessed, because you gave him attention to begin with. Maybe you should have just. He said it was the best thing ever. Out of it.
He said that. He said, listen, I want to correct something. I didn't mean to use the word battles because you're all coming at me in the comments. I meant when she goes live, if she has the coins on.
Yes.
Every million coins she gets a kickback of $5,000. That's all I was trying to say. Transparency. So calm it down, comment section.
An innocent mistake. It's an innocent mistake.
Shiitake mushrooms. Y'all better stop.
As somebody who has watched her lives, I just wanted to clarify that, because we are being factual in here. That is not in her defense, because she doesn't have to battle. She can make a ton of money without battling. People throw money. They will throw the last dollar at her.
But at the end of the day, the battling or the lives is the least. She makes between 30 and 40 off of videos alone. So she got paid how much for that 3.9 million person view misinformation ridiculousness?
Right.
You know, she made money off of that, and her brand deals. And her one brand, I don't want to give numbers, but I know that this woman is not broke. Okay, not
She
broke.
has an agent, and I have spoken to her agent, and he is in the UK, and I have his contact information. And I am not going to be that ruthless person who calls somebody's agent and tries to say, "Can you talk some reason into this creator?" Because that's what happened to Charles, you know, and I'm not defending Charles. I'm just stating the fact that she authorized someone to contact her. She told her lawyer to call Charles's husband's agent. Now, this had the potential to affect Charles's husband's job and income and reputation and marriage. So that was, and I wish that people, when they listen to that recording, oh, she sounds like a normal person ranting. No, she sounds like a freaking lunatic, trauma dumping and admitting that she has interfered in the life of another creator who she doesn't like, who she could have blocked, who she could have ignored. But because he was a small creator, small potatoes. You know, I was small potatoes compared to her. You know, she goes, like, the fact that she even has anybody monitoring this live with less than 1,000 people watching is so insecure and pathetic and ridiculous. Come on, you got 13.6 or 12.6 million followers, and you care about what 20,000 people are going to hear about you. People lie about me all day long. I mean, her ego is so big that she could climb to the top of it and jump off. It's like the Grand Canyon. It's just pathetic. She's so insecure.
And she is
sending honey, get out of the TikTok kitchen, because it comes with the territory. I put up with it. People are probably in this chat just ragging me out right now. And I'm
trying to get to them, block them.
It's like, it doesn't even bother me, you know, like they cannot get under my skin. And I don't live with this, you know, I don't go to bed thinking of her. I don't wake up in the morning thinking about her. I just think about truth of all kinds, whether it be politically, socially, spiritually. I'm a truth seeker. I'm a truth teller. I do not earn an income on this app right now. I am kicked out of the Creator Fund.
Me too. Welcome to the Kicked Out Club.
Hey. Yes. No explanation whatsoever. I
got nudity. I got body exposure and nudity and animal abuse and drug use. That's what I got.
On the videos, you mean?
No, that's why they kicked me out of the beta fund the same day.
Hey, don't say that stuff in here.
Right. Oh,
Sorry.
Yeah, we got to be careful. They didn't give me any explanation. It was just a general, like, oh, you violated the terms. I'm like, I did? Like, what terms? And I messaged them back, and I showed them a screen recording of when I did an account health check, and my account came back just fine with, like, no strikes or anything. And they just removed me from the fund. And, you know, and I emailed them and I cussed them out. And I call, you know, like me and TikTok go around and around. Just trust me, I am not over here kissing anybody's ass. I am not going to get on here and let them demonetize me without them hearing about how absolutely communist I think that is and where I think it comes from, because this whole app is a psyop. And all
right, listen, I'll be okay if they ban it. Listen, Chaz, somebody asked you a question. I don't know if you saw it.
Oh, I didn't.
I don't know if you answered this or not. I'd like to hear you speak on why you were okay with it. Oh, damn, it went away.
Wait. While I was okay with it when we were friends.
There you go. No,
yes.
It was a good question, so I figured maybe, you know.
Yeah, why? But I just need a little clarification. Why I was okay with what when we were friends? Like with the grifting, or... You know, like, because when I was friends with her, I wasn't like too keen on looking into, you know, these issues. Like I didn't go to the Reddit page. You know, it's like a cult. You know, you care about this person, you believe what they say.
Listen, Chaz, hold on. Do not unblock the people that are from the other side. I'm blocking them because they're not welcome here. So stop unblocking them, moderators. Tommy is not allowed in here. Like, he's from the other side. I'm not dealing with it. Okay, it's like not a thing. I'm sorry, Chaz, unless you want him here, but I don't think you do.
No, we don't need anybody who's going to be disrespectful in here. Anybody who comes in
And
here
they're
and
from
calls
the
me a
other side, and they're
liar.
only here to get little tidbits so they can make videos for their propaganda. Like, please do not unblock them. Thank you.
Just looking
Back to
for
you,
something
Chaz.
to take out of context.
That's what they're doing, and I'm over it.
Yeah, that's what they do. But yeah, when I was friends with her, of course, you want to think the best of your friends, and she makes you feel like 1 in 13 million. Because she has all these people that she could follow and that she could give her phone number to. And when it's you, it's like you're walking on air for a minute, because it's like, she's willing to share that success with you, and you feel like you've achieved something. You must have achieved something to get her attention. So, it's a real boost. It's better than just sitting and watching her eat a sandwich and pretend that she's your friend when she doesn't even know who the hell anybody who's watching her is. That's the whole parasocial thing that people have issues with that we can get into. But as her friend, I wasn't looking for the bad in her. The same way that all of her little tater tots are doing right now. They're not trying to see the negativity. They're not trying to hear that she sent her lawyer to call the Charles's husband's agent. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that that she says in her own words that she is a board member of the Cheer Choice Awards, which is a very shady charity, which is connected to her own charity and mentioned on her charity website, the connection to Cheer Choice. It's scandalous. People can buy their own votes. And I have audio recordings of people who did just that and bragged about it and thought it was great because they were going to win, because they knew how to game the system. And it had been reported to the board members who did nothing about it, of which she was one. There's a disclaimer on the spreadthecheer.org that tells contestants that they can be dismissed for any reason, that they can, the winner of the contest can be chosen by Cheer Choice. That means by the board. So, when you put those things together, isn't she just handing herself an award for publicity? Doesn't it feel that way? And I put this in question form because, she won't answer. And it covers me because I have my suspicions. I can draw my own conclusions based on this information. You're the board member of a contest that can be rigged by people, and has been by people who have spent their own money through a third party to buy votes for them. And then you win an award that is supposedly in the category of, say, best storyteller or most authentic or, best singer or whatever. You're not the best anything. You're the best fundraiser. You're the person who raised the most money, and whether or not you did it ethically doesn't appear to be a concern to Cheer Choice or Ophelia. So how that's not a grift? And and another thing, I have people asking, sources telling me that they have been asking the Cheer Choice Awards, information, people that work for them, where the money is. How much money did Cheer Choice earn? Because usually when there's a charity and they do a fundraiser, they set a goal. And when they reach that goal, and if they surpass it, that's time to ring the bell, the Jerry Lewis telethon. It's time to tell everybody, ding, ding, look, we made this money. Look how much money we brought in for this charity. Nobody's seeing that anywhere. Like, where is the money? How much did you make from this last event? Why do we have to try to dig up tax information when you are a 501c3, you are, tax exempt, and you have to be transparent with, people. So it's not just the contest, it's the financial aspect and the lack of transparency. And I think that's a pattern that we're seeing with both the Cheer Choice 501c3 and hers. Like, there's just no transparency there. And if you're a public person and you're making a public charity, well, then you should be held publicly accountable for the funding that you are receiving from the people. There's a person who told me that she donated $500 to the PayPal, and then she ended up getting blocked. So, there's no accountability. The people who donated the money cannot ask her where it went. and get a straight answer. Because if you just go by the 281,000 alone, which we know it was much more with the meal train, then we know that there is a discrepancy, a very big discrepancy. And that's the grift. That's the grift. And regardless of whether you believe how my friendship with her ended or not, but if you are a tater tot and you call her mama, then you are probably one of those people who is not willing to listen to anything negative about her. And you will ride at dawn no matter what she does, no matter what people say she does. You will not look for that evidence. I did not go to Reddit until after she dumped me on TikTok. And why would anybody call you their friend, call you their bestie one day, and then the next day go on to TikTok, mention you by name, knowing that your followers would be influenced to not only unfollow that person, but probably block them and maybe even make a video about how you don't like them either, but you can't say why because she didn't say why. And the reason that she did this is because she wanted to save her platform. She threw me under the bus to save herself. She didn't throw Slots under the bus, who's accused of allegedly stealing over $100,000 in donations for DV victims. But yet she could throw me under the bus, a friend. She never mentioned Charles Wrestler's name in any of her videos, but yet she would mention the name of a friend. And the reason she did this
has been reported to the Cheer Choice Awards, and her exact words, quote unquote, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm on the fucking board.
Correct. 100%. That is the recording that she sent to me that I have posted on my channel. I'm not sure if it's in the first, second, or third recording. The first recording that I had posted on TikTok, her language was so foul, using the Lord's name in vain, F this, F that, and a very threatening tone, that got that video taken down for bullying, even though it was not, because I certainly wasn't bullying anyone. But TikTok apparently did not like her tone and her language, and they took down that video, and it is now on my TubeView. There's a link in my bio. You can go to my TubeView, and it's the first video that should pop up on there is the first recording of her that cannot be played on TikTok because it's too strong for this app. She cussed like a sailor. And yes, she did say she is on the board. They tried to send people, to contact at the Cheer Choice Awards, and those effers don't even know that I'm on the board. She said in her own words that she is a board member. Now, they can say that she's a headliner. They can try to claim whatever they want. She's been associated with this organization for a couple of years now, at least. And both of those years, she was the recipient of an award. Now, if that alone is not an ethical violation, I don't know what is. How do you sit on the board of a charity that has an award show and receive an award? And isn't this all about publicity? Isn't it about throwing your name around and your weight because you know that you're an influencer and you know that your character draws in generous people, lonely, vulnerable people who need to sit with someone who they can relate to.
And I want to
feels
say,
like a predatory grift.
Sorry, I want to address something in the comments. If you go to that organization's webpage, she is on the board. She is listed there, as well as some other sketchy creators. My second part of that question is, even though this was about the adoption, right, when this happened to you, do you believe, because I'll say it and I'll keep saying it and I don't care, every single almost major person that she had is a part of the community that she says she supports so much. So do you believe, because her base is so big... Hi, can I help you? Hold on just a second.
Okay. We're not mad at her, Gina. We're exposing the truth about her. At least I am. So
do you believe, though, that because her base is so big with LGBTQIA, that she also used that in a way, in a mechanism to still solidify that base and not anger or upset that big base she has?
In regards to the Cheer Choice Awards, or separately?
No, separately. Like overall, did
Oh
she
yeah,
do publicly humiliate you to save face with her biggest base and not make them upset?
yeah. She has always pandered to us, and when she made a controversial video, this is when I showed up on her radar. I think the first time she had made a video that was controversial, where someone had asked her, or someone said to her that you cannot be Christian and LGBT. And she made a video saying, yes, you absolutely can be a Christian and be LGBT. And of course, I agree 100%. Like, I'm not a Christian, but I am LGBT. And I do know, plenty of them who are Christians. And, they have every right to, practice the religion that they choose. And so I agreed with her on that topic. And I defended her when this woman made a video going off on her. The woman was a former club dancer herself with tattoos and everything else. So it was pretty easy to pick her apart using her own Leviticus, thinking. And biblical, because I grew up Southern Baptist. I was formerly an evangelical Christian, and I know their talking points. So I reminded this woman in my response that you can be a Christian, but you are a woman, and according to the book of Timothy, you should sit in silence. You should be submissive to men. You should not be talking into a